this, this number 3 number, but you know what?
We'll call to order the meeting of the City Council of the City of Two Harbors for the purpose of acting as the Two Harbors Cable Commission. Roll call, please.
Woodruff.
Here.
Glasser.
Here.
Renwald.
Here.
Swanson. Passy. Erickson. Redden.
Here. All right. We'll start out with the discussion on cable TV matters. Jose, did you want to start us with that?
Sure. Well, so my name's Jose Leon. I think you all know me. You see me around here. So I got a contract to run the cable TV public access and to be the official City of Two Harbors camera person. It's the first time I've met you guys in an official capacity for this. So the issues I have right now is I don't have any operating budget. I don't have any method to be able to try and offer services to somebody as far as to produce content for public access. So that's one of the issues is operating budget. For a couple other equipment issues as well, to be able to record independently. Right now I have to record on the server, and if it's not programmed right or the meetings go long, start early, that's it. So I think if we eliminate the Zoom thing, the data practices storage is going to maybe fall a little more onto me as far as the recording of these meetings if minutes aren't accurate or whatever it would be. So that's it for the budget thing as far as that as equipment. We have a computer that's broken back there. I can't access certain things, so I don't have a lot of functionality of things because the computer doesn't work. So that was my first topic. I have about 4 or 5 topics here, and I'll try to make it quick. I got the channel working, channel 13 working about a month ago now, and I'd like to get HD programming instead of SD programming. All of our equipment is HD, all of our cameras are HD, our servers HD, everything is HD. We should have a discussion about that, not here, because there's issues with MediaCom and changes coming down the road that we can take advantage of. Zito Media, they no longer have a television service, so they're technically in violation of the franchise agreement. And I would like to be able to get them to do a technological review, so be able to offer us video on demand, so that we can have video on demand and a Roku channel, Apple TV channel. That's the goal. The equipment needed to do that is relatively inexpensive considering the cost of all the other stuff that's in there, and it is the same brand and it integrates totally into our system already. The server that would be required to do that, or the server add-on, is approximately $5,200. Zito Media's fines for not meeting the franchise agreement are $100 a day. And they do, according to what I've read in the franchise agreement, they do have a $5,000 deposit with the city on those fines right now. So I would like to be able to get the technological review with Zito Media to get them to give us video on demand, because they can't meet their franchise. They need to renegotiate their franchise agreement if they can't help us out. We currently don't have any space to even produce anything, so I would like to be able to put together something to where we could use this space as a reservable space to produce some kind of content, whether it would even be local news type content, some public service announcement things from the different departments that we could run on a rotating basis on the cable channel. A lot of other cities do that, police departments, fire departments, public safety, park, all those things. It would be nice to have that information out there, especially if we can get all this on video on demand. So my last topic here is Zoom, the future, what's going to happen there. I recently heard that that's going to end, so that would, I think, going to put a little more onus on the data storage and probably getting some data requests from the recordings that are happening in this room. For the last few months, I've been uploading my own personal recordings on my own personal YouTube channel. And I would like to be able to get access to the better video and audio recordings that I'm providing to Zoom, to be able to offer that to the public until we can offer this as an official city product. I have turned in a data request for the Zoom recordings, and I would like to be able to get access to those, just to be able to use those. They are public information. The other thing would be other option would be a YouTube channel for the city itself. I had discussed that previously about making a YouTube channel just for the public dissemination of official information, just the government information. And the channel would have to be set up, the YouTube account would have to be set up so it's strictly a one-way communication. You're not gonna receive comments or anything. It's strictly one-way, push it out type of thing. Because there's a lot of First Amendment issues when you start taking comments from people. So that's where I am with this. I've got it running. I've got content on there. I generated a report today. About 61% of the time is actual video content. The rest of it is bulletin board information. So there's information on the screen all the time. There's audio on the screen or on the TV all the time. So that's where I am with that. I'd like to be able to get some public input and some public help for programming, to be able to continue programming. My initial goal was to get it working, figure out how to get content on there so that I can then be able to produce some content during the summer here when it's busy. I just started doing the band concerts, and I'm sure there's gonna be tall ships and other events going on this summer that would be nice to have, well, so that people can see it. So that's where I am. Any questions?
Go ahead, Miles.
Yeah, do you have a figure for your operating budget about how much you're requesting?
For equipment operating budget, or operating budget in general, I would, for equipment for this year, to be able to edit video, control the switcher, to be able to offer, to train people in on that, $7,500 probably.
And then the other one I had, I think most of the council would probably be in support of that technological review, correct, with Zito?
Yeah.
So we support that.
It is in the language of the chart of the franchise that they are supposed to have periodic technological reviews, and that they are striving to give us state-of-the-art service, which we aren't getting right now.
No, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you for giving it to them as much as you have.
Go ahead, Councilor.
I just wanted to thank you so much for what you've done and what you're doing and the vision that you have, and that you're bringing this back to the public of, and to Arbors and all the folks who want to watch and see what's going on. And I love the YouTube channel idea. I think in high definition, I think it's fantastic. Make you so much. Thank you for stepping up and wanting to do this.
Welcome, I appreciate it. We do have there is a website that I'd like to make public, and we can put a link on the city page that actually has the schedule of programs that are run on there. I do a lot of music programming on there because that's what I do. Horror movies and old movies at midnight every night and that type of thing on there, so.
On the city channel, or?
Yeah, it's all public domain, so here I get the server is provided by a company called Tightrope Media Services, and they run a service called PEG Media, so it's pegmedia.org is the website, and you have to be a public access channel to access that, and everything on there is public access open. There's tons and tons of stuff. I mean, I got old country music videos from the 80s on there. You can see Willie Nelson interviews and all kinds of stuff on there, and there's tons more, so I'd like to get some input from other people to get programming on there that's just not what I put on there. So
Mr. Shane.
Go ahead, Robin.
I guess the first question I wanted to ask is, when we did the budget last year, did we leave any funds in the, cable budget? Because it used to be 10,000.
Yes, and I have to look at, like where, Jose's been communicating with, with certain needs that he has and we've been getting them, and I'll have to look and see. He may have 7,500 available to him right now, so we'll look at that. Otherwise, you would just do an amendment, or every request he has, we can bring it to council.
Well, I
if
hate
there isn't
I hate to
enough.
have to do that. If there's funds available, let's
Yeah,
figure out a way for Jose to use them. I guess the second question that I would ask, Mr. Chair, is, so is the violation of the contract with Zito Media something that we need to refer to the city attorney? I'm sorry, Tim.
So I'm taking notes.
Is there something we need to be doing and meeting with them and revising that?
I wouldn't go into a negotiation without reading the contract.
Yeah, I just read the franchise agreement and found the different stipulations in there about that, and I honestly think that if we give them the chance to give us a technological review and tell us what we want, and that it's affordable, and quite honestly, it would be less than any fines they would have to pay.
So at this point, how long have they been not paying fines?
I can't imagine they've ever paid a fine, and I honestly don't know how long they have not been able to provide the service. I honestly don't know. So,
Well, at $100 a day, that's a chunk of change.
well, that's why when I started doing this, I was under the impression that none of that had been working for at least a year. And that's the information I got from Jennifer Havlik. And the MediaCom verified that it was late last June was the last time that it worked for them. So we got that back up and running. And so I'm pretty sure it's been since last summer. So my whole thing, if I was the one going in to bargain, I would tell them, well, $100 a day, that's $36,500. How about we make it $100 a week and buy us that server for $5,200? That's.
Well, I just think, I guess I would suggest that we consult with administration and the attorney as to how to move forward with that, because, yeah, that's money that we can certainly use for other things. So, when you're talking about getting some public input, are you looking to have some public people take over the charter or take over the cable?
At least even have somebody on the public in it so that there can be some input. And I would actually just like to get a group of people together to sit down and look at some of the available programming just so that it's not just my input. That's basically it. I'd like to have the community's input into what goes on the channel. And I've been reluctant to even go talk to the school about producing stuff because we don't have the stuff to produce. I can't offer them equipment to produce anything.
Right.
And that really should be our mission and I think that is the mission of public access, is to offer the equipment and the access to produce programming for the public. Not necessarily to offer the labor to produce it, but the equipment, the training, and the access to the channel.
Well, I remember years ago when cable TV first came out, you had everything on there from graduations to football games, so, and band concerts and everything in between, and I think that for some of the public out there that's still relying on cable television for their viewing, I think that those kinds of things would be extremely well watched and well liked.
Yeah.
I was so happy that you were at the concert the other night. That was great.
Well, I've had some conversations with a guy named Ron Werkela. He's the guy that runs Hibbing Public Access. So I would suggest to take a look at HPAT. They have the same equipment that we have. We can do very much the same thing that they do. They have 3 channels. They have a bigger subscriber base. we only can support one channel with the amount of subscribers we have. So, but he's been doing it for a long time and he knows what he's doing, and I'm kind of looking at him as a model, so.
I guess my only question falls under the line of the city YouTube channel. Is that something that the city would have to, I know YouTube's kind of weird with how they do like comments and stuff. Is that something that we would pay for a service with them?
No, I think when you set it up, you just will not be able to, you would just set it up to not take any comments on any of your posts. The comments would all be shut off.
You can do that.
Yep. Yeah, we run into that I do live streaming for some other places, and we run into that where you just gotta shut it off, certain ones.
Sure.
So. And I would just make that a standard for the YouTube channel for here. It would just be strictly dissemination of information. Different cities do it different. We wouldn't have to do a YouTube channel at all if we could get this server, and we could serve up our own video on demand right from our server. It would come right out of our closet, right to the internet. Moose Lake uses YouTube exclusively for all their meetings. HPAT, they play all theirs on their server. Virginia, they contract out with Vimeo. Vimeo costs a couple $1,000s a year for Vimeo hosting. So, but they have a little more control over the ads. Once you put your thing up on YouTube, whatever kind of ads they want to put on there.
Sure.
So, yeah, there's ramifications of all ways. YouTube's free. Everything else costs money.
Do you take any questions from the public for this being a committee meeting, not a
I don't-
council?
I don't believe so. That's kind of, that you would have to sign up in advance.
Ah.
That's kind of what our policy and procedure is right now, is you would have to sign up in advance before the agenda was put out.
I'll talk with Jose after, there's lots of questions. But
Any other questions from the council to Jose? No?
Can we take any action at this meeting, Patty?
I was just gonna refer this basically to finance as far as the budget. If it's within the budget, I just kind of feel like that's an item that doesn't need to be referred to finance.
Yeah, the next agenda.
To me, it would be like a regular committee where the committees can make recommendations to the council, but you couldn't take any council action. I think that's how I see it.
So, no action at this time, but it's reviewed and
Move to finance?
yeah.
I would make the suggestion then also to ask that, as far as a space for, that Jose was talking about, to produce certain things, that maybe we could refer that to public affairs. And, public input on programming could also go to public affairs, and then maybe we can get a few volunteers to help Jose with that. What do you think?
Yeah, or put
Yeah.
it in the
Come down here some night, we'll have a
in the Lake
meeting.
County Press,
Get
say, hey,
pizza
we're
or
looking
something.
for this, yeah, absolutely.
Patty, did you have something to add?
Sure, otherwise, we can also possibly in the future, I don't know how the council feels about it, but move the cable commission back to a public body. Not necessarily the whole council, you can have a council member on or what you feel you need to have on it. But
Yeah.
in the past, that's what the committee was intended to have.
Right.
And that's
And
my
it was just-
recommendation as
right.
well. I would like to see it be more of a community driven.
It was just done that way because there was so much conflict at the time, and I just don't see that happening right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a clean slate, start over. Yeah, and then another thing is if we want Tim to be looking at anything, we could, make that recommendation at the council meeting or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense, it's, yeah, so finance can look at numbers and then take it from there.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Anything else from you, Jose?
No, I think that's it, as long as I just saw this work with Patty and Joel, and they can communicate with the lawyer and try and get communication out to Zito to get this done,
Yeah.
so. Well,
We appreciate your efforts, Jose. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a great pleasure having you work with us.
Thank you.
All right, if nothing else in this meeting, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Nice try, guys.
Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Bosher,
Yes.
Redwald,
Yes.
Redmond.
Yes, we are adjourned.